Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review. Another match preview as the matches are coming, thick and fast, I think it's fair to say at the moment, as we head to Dortmund tomorrow night. And don't forget, folks, it is an early kickoff in Dortmund. It is 5:45. Me and Billy on air from 5:15 tomorrow afternoon. Half an hour's build-up, including team news. So we will preview the match tonight, and we will touch on what Eddie Howe has had to say as well in his press conference. Just a couple of points. But if you do enjoy tonight's show, guys, as usual, hit the thumbs up for us. We really do appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel, come and be part of this fantastic community, heading towards 25,000 subscribers by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell, which will let you know when we go and schedule our live shows or we upload any videos such as the one I did earlier today. You can become a member of the Toon Review by hitting the join button just underneath myself and Alex and Billy. And you can, of course, donate to the channel as usual by hitting the $ at the bottom of the live comments, which will take you through, and you will also get your comment read straight out. We do have a new member straight off the bat, Paul Jacobson. Welcome to Members Club. Thank you for signing up, matey, and really do appreciate that. And welcome to the family. Right, we will start with injury news. Eddie Howe did confirm in his press conference regarding Dan Burn. This is what he had to say regarding Dan. Unfortunately, Dan will be out for some time. It could be a couple of months. This is sort of a speculative answer. He landed on his spine. I think he's got a problem with the base of his spine. It's a big blow for us. He has been gigantic for us since he signed for a lot of different reasons. His character, his determination, his experience and versatility too. So it's not just one position we are losing. Alex, a massive blow.
Well, yeah, I mean, for the people criticizing Dan Burn out there, he's still very important to the sort of back three structure, the in possession shape, the covering, the out of possession structure, the aerial duels. The way who he is very important to the way we play in the system.
Yeah.
However, it is an opportunity for Lewis Hall. So, which
it doesn't mean that Lewis injured as well, isn't he? So,
of course, it doesn't mean that Lewis Hall's going to play this game against Dortmund. However, you would imagine that you're going to get Trippier and Livramento maybe sharing the fullback role on either side with smatterings of Lewis Hall starting as well. I would imagine. So it'll be an opportunity for Hall, slightly different game, I guess, with him. But you know, he offers you things that Dan Burn can't. But then we're losing things like leadership, aerial presence, experience. So we are losing a lot of things that are important. So, but yeah, it's going to be a few good things, but then a few bad things. You know, we'll probably see a few more gut-busting runs from Lewis Hall, some more crosses and some more offensive flair. We'll probably see he's faster at tracking, and there's probably lots of elements to his game that are better than Burn's. But then there's also a lot that he hasn't got that Burn has. So we'll see if we can integrate him into the system nice and quickly, and how Eddie Howe actually starts to use the fullbacks, whether he's going to use Trippier and Livramento or whether he's going to use Hall a bit more. I think this game will be a big indicator as to what he's going to be picking going forward, or it might be a rotation between that.
Night of Knee Gaming, thank you for being a member for 15 months. He says, great run of results. Heard a flood alert has been issued for London due to Arsenal tears. Refusing to shake our captain's hand is disgraceful. Yeah, I did a show earlier on today, did a video on that, and I thought that was disgusting. But look, as far as I'm concerned, it's gone now, the Arsenal game. Let them keep going on about it. They're still crying about it now. They're probably still crying about it until we play them in February. So let them bugger off and do it themselves. We've got more important fish to fry now in the Champions League. And Billy, you know, we were critical of Dan Burn earlier on in the season. It took him, you know, like a couple of others, to be fair, it took him a while to get going. He has got going, and he's performed brilliantly the last, 7 or 8 games. So this is another massive blow. And again, another injury, which again is, you know, people are saying, oh, is Eddie's training too bad or too much for them? It's nothing to do with the training. It's just an unlucky fall.
Yeah, it was a terrible fall. And, you know, the way he carried on after that, he should have come off straight away, really. He tried to run through it, couldn't do it. And whether that's done any more damage or not, playing that extra 10 minutes or so till half time, who knows? But yeah, it's a big loss, isn't it? Because he has improved his offensive game. Lewis Hall's is much better, I've got to say. Defensively, we lose lots. Set pieces is going to be weaker at set pieces, both attacking and defending from now on. So it's going to be a big loss for us. And as Alex says, the leadership in there as well. He's a motivator. Yeah, it's a bad loss for us, really. And the injury to pile up, don't they? It's a real kind of unfortunate time for us at the minute.
I think he'll still play a part in the dressing room. Obviously, when he's out injured, I think Eddie will still have him around because we need people like Dan Burn around the dressing room, like you say, Billy, because he is that kind of, he does give us that leadership in the dressing room, and he's there for players as well, the younger players, to put an arm around, and he can be that kind of character as well. So these are all needed in the dressing room, and I'm sure he'll still be around. But it's just such bad luck. I mean, I can't actually believe the luck we're having with injuries at the minute. It is absolutely bizarre. Jam Stasher says, I'd like to see Hall on the left rather than Trippier there and Livramento on the right. Tough decision, but I'd go with Hall on the left. That being said, Eddie will probably go with Dummett.
Don't think so.
No. Look, Dummett's not a left back anymore. I think Eddie would be absolutely mental to do that. Dummett hasn't got the legs to play left back anymore. I think we know that. Centre half, yes. Definitely not left back. No chance.
He is the next cab on the rank, though, isn't he? If there's another injury to a fullback.
Well, it's getting to the bare bones now. It really is. To coin a phrase, says Dortmund are a big side too. We should be okay aerially as long as Big Joe and two centre halves are on the pitch. Barry says, personally, I think it will help our attack down the left-hand side. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly one advantage, isn't it, Alex? He's a lot more, talking about Lewis Hall, he is a lot more direct and attacking and overlapping than what Dan Burn would be.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I'm just nervous about it because I know certain sections of the fan base do criticize when people make mistakes, and I feel like there will be teething issues where we're probably going to have 2 to 3 months of a makeshift back line now. It's already been fairly makeshift anyway, and now it's going to have an additional element change to it. That's quite a lot of changes to the back line. And we're relying on rotation players or youth players stepping up and being really, really impressive and consistent. So there will be mistakes. I just hope that the fans understand that there's going to be teething problems. We have to accept it for what it is. There's games we're going to lose and there's mistakes going to happen. However, we're going to get some interesting performances. I've got no doubts that we're going to see some really, really interesting left-sided play. Look at Willock's combinations on the left side, Joe Linton and Gordon. Imagine throwing Lewis Hall in that mix as well up top.
Yeah.
Really exciting. So we've just got to make sure we're very grounded as a fan base and we understand that we're going to get both.
Yeah. Guys, just to remind you, no capital letters in the chat, please. No all caps, because they do get deleted by the mods. I know some of you are just typing normal messages in caps, but they will be removed. It just seems like, caps is apparently shouting. So all in lowercase, guys, in the comments, if you would, please. Thank you. Davey says here, I'd honestly start Gordon up front tomorrow. Wilson lacks technical ability and gets the ball took off him far too often. Willock, Gordon and Miggy up front for Davey. Billy, what do you make of that?
It's a fair shout. They're not going to be scared of Wilson's physical presence, but the pace of Gordon, they'll be shit scared of that. Absolutely, they will. Having said that, I watched Harry Kane bully them on Saturday, so it is possible to do it. But I think Harry Kane's slightly more physical than Callum Wilson, and with a bit of technical ability on top of that.
Yeah, he's got a few years on Callum as Harry Kane, hasn't he? So I think that's the issue. But again, like I said in today's earlier show, Isak's back in training a little earlier than usual. But I think from what I can gather, it was just physio work he was doing. It wasn't sort of with the main group. He did have a little kick about with them, but not as far as I know. So I wouldn't put him in. I wouldn't count Isak in for Bournemouth. The weekend either. I think it'll still be after the international break. With what's going on with injuries at the minute, I don't think there's any chance in hell that Eddie Howe takes any risks whatsoever with any players, given the look that we've had so far. But what he did say on the game. He says, looking back to the game against Dortmund was a useful exercise, but they may change the way they play, and we may change the way we play. I think it was two evenly balanced teams going against each other. That game could have gone either way. I hope we can get the fine margins on our side this time. Any insight, Alex, do you think what he meant by we may change the way we play? Has he got surprises up his sleeve?
Well, I mean, losing Byrne instantly changes that.
Well, Chippers was just asking if there's a chance we go 3 at the back tomorrow, 3 centre-backs.
No, I don't.
With 2 strikers, we've only got 1 fit.
No, not with the personnel. I mean, it's possible in certain scenarios, but not with the personnel we've got unavailable. Because what happens if something goes wrong? Like, and playing that sort of shape also puts pressure on what you're going to do further up the pitch. No, I can't see it personally. You never know, but if it doesn't work, who comes on as a wing back? I mean, Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, we're back to Steve Bruce days, aren't we?
Oh, dear
Yeah,
God.
it gets. If something goes wrong once, we're going to either have to abandon the entire formation immediately, or bring on Matt Ritchie as a wing back. So it's a dangerous game to play there.
Yeah,
I think what's meant by that is, I mean, potentially it's just to do with Lewis Hall. It's to do with the back line shift, because I don't see us changing too much. You know, I mean, we'll talk about the Dortmund versus Bayern game and how they were exploited. They were very narrow. Their wide players were so aggressive. They got hurt a lot in transition, and that's how we kind of play anyway. And I'm imagining we're going to try and hurt them. So that's not new. So where's the new coming into it? Unless he's got something interesting up his sleeve, very well could be. You know, they're an interesting coaching setup. Maybe Howe's got a trump card, but I would imagine it's to do with Lewis Hall, or maybe not Lewis Hall at all. Maybe he's going to reshuffle everything and surprise it. Who knows?
Well, it would be unlike Eddie to surprise us, wouldn't it, with a team lineup, and we'll all be thinking, "Oh, Jesus Christ, what's he doing there? What's he playing there for?" And then we go and absolutely.
Oh yeah, Richie's not in the Champions League squad. Sorry, guys, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's not. I just remember. Yeah, good point. We forget it's different squads, isn't it? Yeah, so we're even more squeezed now. 100%. Nick's asking what were the differences on our on the lineup for Dortmund between Bayern and then our first leg. Well, we'll come to that when you see Alex's graphics. Barry says both Livramento and Hall are allowed to make mistakes. They are both young and should be forgiven for any mistakes to allow them to grow and learn. Agreed, Barry, but unfortunately, some of the plastics don't see it that way. Keith says just signed on. What's the word on Dan Burn? Out for a couple of months. Keith, unfortunately, he won't be available to us. Another one has bitten the dust. The rough-eared Bernician says, could now be the time to play Miggy on the left with Lewis Hall and Willock, and Trippier Livramento on the right and Gordon up front? It's certainly options there, Billy, isn't there?
I think he'll go with his normal midfield, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you'll see. You may see Willock out left.
Has Willock? Well, I mean, I suppose he's got the option of, Joe Linton and Willock alternating that position, haven't they? So, one of them could go and then one of them could stay back.
Look, we tried the physical kind of stuff with Wilson in the first leg. Didn't work in the slightest. I think we go with pace. Willock down the left, Gordon through the middle. I think it makes perfect sense in my eyes, and it also rests Callum Wilson. He's played like Saturday, so. Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Very interesting. Right. What else did he say? Let's have a look. On team mentality, he says every game is a must win. The team is overused in football. We prepare only to win games and we don't have anything else in our minds. That is what we'll try and do with this one. So no surprise, Alex, that he's going out to win the game. I mean, he said that when he first became manager, that he doesn't go out for draws. He doesn't go out for anything else but to win football matches. Yeah,
well, it's refreshing because it makes it a bit easier to predict. We know we're not going to put, it's just nice because it's always a bitter pill to swallow when you know that your manager or your team's going to go with a defensive setup to try and snatch a draw or something. And it's nice that we don't have that anymore. As much as I liked Rafa Benitez, and I enjoyed the tactical element of it. I thought it was very creative. I thought we played some very pretty football at times when Perez hit form as well. He was technically very gifted, and we played some really, really good football, to be fair. However, it is a bit more refreshing now with the fact that it's just constantly trying to win, whether it's the first half, the second half, right at the end of the game into added time. It's always trying to grab a winner, always trying to grab another goal, always pushing, late substitutions, always trying to get there. You just know, and it's easier for us to talk about as fans because we kind of know more what's going to happen, but then so does the opposition. So
Rory wants a score prediction to chuck on a bet. Well, you'll get our score predictions at the end there, Rory. And finally, on Tino Livramento, Eddie said Tino was a very good player. He showed that coming into a difficult moment on Saturday. That game was evenly poised and the atmosphere was red hot. He was playing against a very good opponent and he's come on and done very well again. We will make decisions on team selection based on all the information we have. What does that mean, Billy?
Who knows? All he's saying is he's confident in Livramento, in his ability, in his temperament, and he's quite right to. Because to me, there's no drop off defensively, especially with Kieran Trippier at right back as Livramento.
I mean, he's very coy though, isn't he, Billy, about his team selections? He never gives anything away. So,
hang on a minute. We've got an Arsenal fan in the chat. Just can't let it go, can they? Just can't let it go.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Oh. No freedom of speech on Geordie channels. Is that what it is?
You go a bit further, you'll see. You'll see more.
I mean, you're speaking, so give it one more, and there won't be, and you'll be gone. But
listen, we welcome fans of all clubs on this channel, even though it's a Newcastle United-based channel. We have a lot of football fans who aren't Newcastle fans. We've got West Ham fans, Spurs fans, etc., who are very welcome on the channel and play a big part in the channel. But if you're just going to come on and be an absolute baby and cry again over your terrible performance on Saturday and the fact that you couldn't break us down, regardless of the goal, you couldn't break us down. End of story.
This is about Dortmund, so they can do one.
Exactly.
He said he hopes Dortmund wins.
Well, fair enough. Fine. Stephen says, I'd start that Carabao Cup team. Old Trafford's more daunting than Dortmund.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, I mean, look.
Not in its current state, it's not.
The yellow and green wall. Hardly a wall, is it?
Yeah, the Norwich City Wall of Doom. I think the Dortmund wall would be slightly more intimidating. It was interesting to watch. I don't know whether you guys have seen my video from earlier on talking about Schlotterbeck's comments that he made, saying that Newcastle United are disgusting, but not in a disgusting way that most people would think. He says they're disgusting the way they press constantly for 90 minutes. They don't give you a second on the ball. They're at you all the time. It's disgusting the way they play, which I thought was it's a good compliment that to Newcastle United when a defender of his class is talking about them. Go from in Germany. Go from in January, guys. Please, if anyone from Newcastle hierarchy is watching, I think he wants to come. But he was talking about the yellow wall as well and how he expects to not hear Newcastle United fans tomorrow because Dortmund fans are going to make such a big noise. He hasn't experienced Newcastle United fans away from home. So I think he's going to get quite a shock, guys.
Well, they'll make a noise, all right. There's going to be 80,000 people in there, and I don't know how many of them are Newcastle fans, 5,000 or 6,000, I think. But they'll make themselves heard, absolutely no doubt about it. And if we do take the lead or anything like that,
you got to consider how loud we were at Old Trafford. 7,000 fans in a 75,000 seater stadium. All we could hear was Geordies. So we're waiting.
Well, that was because we we battered them. Let's be honest. But a lot of Man United fans that aren't Man United fans are just from London with mobile phones, as we well know. Dylan's asking, can we put someone else in the 23-man squad? Why is my mouse not working to get the comment up on the screen? Oh, it doesn't. There it goes. Can we put someone else in the 23-man squad to replace Sandro Tonali because it wasn't our fault?
That's an interesting question.
I don't think we can, guys. I honestly, I think it just goes down as Tonali's if it would be injured. It's just we can, I think, change the squad for the next round. But obviously, I think we can make changes like we can in the Premier League squad for the next round of games.
We'll have to ask. Maybe the Arsenal fan, instead of being a dick, maybe they can offer some insight. You've been in the Champions League. Oh, wait, you've only just got back into it. Okay, never mind.
We couldn't pick 25 in the first place, so if we're going which was odd, really, because we could have picked Richie and Kraft and people like that, couldn't we? But we didn't.
Clone Lad says, I'm surprised Eddie Sedburn was injured. Should have threw the Hall in tomorrow and surprised them.
I just said he's fit to play. He's going to start.
Yeah. But I think had he said that, and then it comes out that he's injured for a couple of months, I think, like we keep saying, we want Eddie to, answer the proper questions and give us some information. And he's done it this time. So I don't think we've got anything to complain about. Tony says, evening, TTR family. Looking forward to another cracking show. Thank you very much. Davey reckons Trippier will start left back 100%. I mean, if he does that, I don't think what does that do to Lewis Hall, Billy? What does that say?
It says a lot more to Donald Mallon, because he'll be. I think he'd like it. I'd like to see a right back on his wrong side. I really do. It narrows the pitch for us as well. I mean, they play narrow. It suits us to stretch the pitch as much as possible. Yeah,
Marlon is extremely fast, as we've seen. I mean, he caused trouble last week, and he can do it again this week, Alex. So it's a very interesting thing, isn't it? Because now Dan Burns out, we start to think, what? Sorry, just this comment caught me here. Share it right back. Oh, no, sorry. Well, no, share Lascelles and Trippier as centre-backs with Hall and Livramento as wing-backs. Yeah, but what we going to do?
What do you do if it goes wrong? You've got
if Kevin Trippier was Kyle Walker, he'd be all right, but he's not, is he?
Stephen makes a good point here, saying Dortmund exploited the space behind our full-backs at St James's. Yeah, I mean, they got through Trippier quite a few times, Billy.
Yeah, they did. I mean, the goal came from there, didn't it? It was court field, and he didn't have a good game against Dortmund, to be fair.
We do have a Dortmund fan in the chat, AB. Tomorrow it will be different lineup for sure. Two of Moukoko, Bino, Gittins, and Reina might start.
I mean, that's not the predicted lineups. All the predicted lineups show the what's his name, Bino, Gittins in, but not the other two, Moukoko and Reina.
Yeah. Can we all give Bashino a wave, please, everybody, as well? Hello!
We're getting rid now, are
we? No, we just give them a wave. I think, that's more funny. Just wave to them. They're so bitter. Johnny B says, far too many injuries racking up. Think our season is going to be in trouble. Maybe we need to drop the championship. Champions League, yeah. And spend more time on the Premier League and Carabao Cup. Well, as Eddie's just said there, it doesn't matter what team he puts out. He puts a team out to win. So let's just... yes, we've got injuries at the minute, but there's a lot of other clubs going through injury problems as well. 50-odd days till the transfer window opens. I'm sure we're going to spend or get some loan deals in. So it should be a very busy January, Billy. I'm expecting a few signings, actually.
I think we can only have 2 loans, can't we? So, yeah. There could be a couple of loans and perhaps a permanent signing, but it depends on the money situation, of course, doesn't it?
Well, of course, with the Adidas deal, Billy, I'm just wondering if that, we have got a little bit more to spend now, or whether that kicks in next season. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I would imagine it kicks in next season, myself personally. We don't know. And obviously, the Champions League money doesn't come into the end of the season. So, they might have budgeted for the January transfer window in the summer, and that's why we didn't spend so much. But transfer window in January is notoriously hard to kind of do deals in, isn't it? For the right price, anyway.
Yeah. A player heavily linked again today, Alex, was Calvin Phillips, of course. Juventus, kind of, I don't know whether they slipped up or not, or whether Newcastle will appreciate Juventus saying this, but Juventus said that Newcastle United are 100% in the running to get Calvin Phillips on loan, but think they'll have the jump because Manchester City won't want to sell Calvin, or won't want to loan Calvin Phillips to a rival. I don't look at it like that. I think Pep Guardiola, would understand Calvin Phillips coming to work under Eddie Howe will kind of probably bring him on a bit more.
I'm not sure Man City necessarily see us as title rivals.
No, I don't either.
However, he may think that Calvin Phillips may aid Newcastle against their title rivals.
I don't know. I'm not particularly keen in the move. I think he's a good player, and I think there's a potential for him to be good in our system, to be revitalized. But I would rather just go in a different direction. I know that sounds harsh because I'm sure he could be really good for us.
Actually, I agree.
I just don't feel it. That sounds really mean. I just don't feel it. I'd rather we went in a different direction. I'd rather we went and just got our own fresh player and maybe purchased one.
What about Neves, Alex? What about Neves?
Oh yeah, I'd take Neves. I'd much prefer Neves than I would Phillips. 100%.
Jam Stasher says, I've never seen a bigger bunch of crybabies in the fans of the traditional top 4 clubs, entitled babies. Paul Tully says, you have freedom of speech, just not stupid speech. Well said. Well said. Geordie B says, we've seen that one. He's put that in again. Or has he? Going to be a struggle until the new window opens. Well, oh my God. Bashino, why I man Biker Grove? Why don't you throw the lot in and say a canny bag of Tudor and all that, man? How? Honestly, do you think you're really getting at us by saying Biker Grove? My God. How
when the
old
board
are you?
comes in.
Yeah. Auf Wiedersehen, Pet, Sting, Anton Deck, bring them all on. Wow. Julie J says Arsenal fans well behaved on TalkSport. It was the Man United fans who were bellends. Oh, that makes a change. Guy says evening chaps, would be interesting what would be said if the result was the other way around. Well, of course.
Nothing would be said.
Of course it wouldn't. Ashley says Biker Grove is better than your Arsenal team.
Better than Grange Hill for sure.
Yeah. Alex, do you remember Grange Hill, Alex?
Bit too young for that.
Oh, Mr. Bronson, Billy. I would have hated having him as a teacher. I probably would have Yeah. Michael says, when is Alisson? Love her. So refreshing. Friday, mate. She's on Friday. So really looking forward to that show with Alice. It'll be interesting to get her take on things that are going on at Manchester United. She's been very complimentary of Newcastle United as well so far this season. And of course, any questions that you guys have, you can fire them at her in the chat as well. Randall says, I swear every time I feel confident we lose or draw, but when I don't expect or I'm nervous, the boys play like world beaters.
We'll be nervous then.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I mean, look at the way we went into the game at Old Trafford last week, and we were thinking, "Oh, fucking hell! This is not going to turn out good. This is be shite," and it wasn't. We absolutely scalped them, which was very nice. NUFC Ollie, thanks for being a member for 6 months. He says, looking forward to the watch along tomorrow, lads. Yep, 5:15 with me and Billy Bob Coleman for that one. Thoroughly looking forward to it. It should be an absolute cracker. Let's have a look. Everybody's just giving Bushino some. Kath says, how is Sevilla on Wednesday? Yes. Marvin says Eddie seems to rather Hall playing as a midfielder, even though Hall, rather than himself, I think should step up while Burn and Target are out. Eddie should give him that confidence. Well,
he played left back against Man United after Target got injured and did rather well, to be fair.
He was fine.
Yeah. Right, Bushino's gone. Paul Tully says, well, Arsenal are currently 4th. They may not even qualify again. Barry says, one shot on target full game. Everybody's having a dig at him. Everybody.
Yeah, maybe we should get back to the Dortmund game because everybody's talking about Arsenal.
I don't think he's not an Arsenal fan. I don't think he's an Arsenal fan. He's just a prick. Lewis says, I heard Craig Hope say something about FIFA and UEFA blocking us from signing Neves on loan in January.
Good luck with that.
Would it surprise you, though, if they came out with some brand new law?
What are they going to do?
Well, there's nothing they can do, personally, but, you know that they'll
if they do it to us, they'll have to do it to everyone.
Yeah, they'll never stop Watford signing Udinese players. They'll never stop Man City signing Frank Lampard.
Yep. If we don't get to play with the shiny toys, nobody gets to play with the shiny toys. They're going to have to do it for everyone. If they don't let us, they've got to do it for everyone in the Premier League. Do it. I dare you. Double dare you. Do it.
Rory says, I'm a Leicester fan. I have no issue with Newcastle other than you lot getting 30 million out of us for Perez. And we have won the league in more recent years than Arsenal. Oof, tough times.
True.
Get in, Rory, son. Get in. Paul Tully said, should be a good game tomorrow regardless. Looking forward to it. Right, let's take a look. It's time. We need a jingle for this, don't we, for Alex's graphics? Susan, we're going to have to come up with Susan's going to have to come up with a little jingle for Alex's graphics.
Like a wrestling entrance,
Well, not that much, Alex. How it's only the graphics.
No, it's
mate.
cool.
You know, I've done
That's amazing. It needs
Alex,
the best entrance music.
You can't compare yourself to wrestling tonight with a granddad jumper on, right? It doesn't work that way.
It's cold.
What about the fishing music? Some fishing music would, wouldn't
I'm sure Susan will come up with a classic and maybe a little bit of a graphic that we can put up on the screen for Alex's for graphics. But we've got over 1,000 people watching, guys, and only 281 likes. Can we please just take a moment out, as usual, guys, and hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the stream before we put Alex's graphics up. We want to get up probably around 600 again, would really help the channel. So thank you very much. And of course, subscribe if you're new and you like what you see, even if you are an Arsenal fan. There you go. Anyway, here we go.
Barry the Bee just suggested I get a fog machine. 100% I'm doing that. I don't think my neighbours will be very happy with me.
Well, I'm sure Susan could do like a graphic of a fog machine. Listen, she's clever with what she does, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, over to you, mate.
Right. So this is the predicted lineup specifically from FOTMob of the Dortmund team. So not too much different to what we faced recently with Bino Gittins, Bino, however we're saying his name, Mittens, Gittins, whatever his name is. I'm not super familiar with him. I've not seen him play, but I have seen the rest play, as we all pretty much have. They had a tough time against Bayern. So for people who haven't watched the Bayern game, I would highly recommend at least going and watching the highlights so you can educate yourself on how we can have a good go at Dortmund away. Harry Kane absolutely tore them a new one. They were absolutely destroyed in transition. They conceded from a corner. It was crazy. And surprisingly, it was this man here, Schlotterbeck, who is normally absolutely solid, had a shocker. I don't think he won a single foot race. Positionally was poor. His recovery runs were shocking. And it's so out of character because any time ever I've seen Schlotterbeck play, he's been outstanding, except that game against Bayern. He was shocking, absolutely shocking. And Hummels as well was at fault for one of the goals. They were both slower than us three put together. They were so slow. They were awful. And I feel like if we play a transitional... Yeah, Harry Kane not even out-muscled them. It was just a short foot race. A short foot race. And Harry Kane's beating you. I mean, we saw Harry Kane beat Fabian Schär in a short foot race, but Fabian Schär's not the quickest. But, you know, these two really struggled for pace. And look, they're world-class centre-halves. Schlotterbeck is the next German centre-half main guy. Hummels has got a World Cup. He's got Champions Leagues. These are amazing centre-halves. However, they got absolutely found out against Bayern. And it was like Kingsley Coman. I've completely forgotten everyone's name straight away. Leroy Sané. It was players of that ilk who were very quick in transition. They just got torn apart. Musiala running at them as well. Okay, we're not that good. However, we've got players that can do similar in Willock, Gordon, Miggy in transition. If we can get these sorts of transitions going, we can definitely run at these kinds of players. Especially if we can get one of these like Nemecha caught upfield and we get some space to run into, there's definitely space to exploit. They scored from who was it? It was Upamecano from a corner. Schlotterbeck was sort of defending about here from a corner. Let's get a red shirt. There you go. So he literally ran into this position round the back of Schlotterbeck and slotted home pretty much as a free man. Schlotterbeck was just on his own, wandering around. Easy goal, headed in. The sort of goal that Lascelles can score. It was decent. So if we go to... So this is the predicted lineup from FOTMob. We've just seen that. This is what they're predicting our lineup to be. So they've predicted basically what I think we're all going with, albeit they think Wilson's going to lead the line, not Willock starting. And they think that he's going to commit to Trippier being the left back in this game with Livramento out right. So, I mean, we'll discuss that anyway. This is that game against Bayern Munich at the weekend. Again, like I said, if you've not seen the highlights, I would highly recommend after the show, not now because obviously watch the show, but go and watch it afterwards, the highlights. So Kane is on a hat-trick of hat-tricks now in the Bundesliga with 15 goals, and we're in the first week of November. So he's absolutely destroying the Bundesliga and the best teams in it. They got destroyed. Look at the ratings. Absolutely shocking from everyone. A 5.7 for Schlotterbeck here. They got absolutely battered. State of play. I mean, arguably Dortmund should have had a goal, but whichever way you spin it, they're winning. They're losing this game 3-1 at least. You can see the shot map. They were restricted to lots of shots outside the goal. A few decent ones, but Bayern, I think they only had one shot outside the box. Such high value opportunities they've created there. Outrageous. Filthy from Bayern. It was so lethal. I'm changing my mind. I think Bayern are going to win the Champions League. They look ridiculous this year. They look so good. So if we go to FOTMob.
A Bayern Newcastle final, Alex. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, you think. Average positions for Dortmund against Bayern. So narrow. What's going on here? So narrow. And then if I swap to Bayern, no wonder they got transitioned. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You got Alphonso Davies and Mazraoui with Coman and Leroy Sané running alongside, Jamal Musiala running central behind Kane. You've got Sané basically the furthest man forward. They just couldn't handle it at all. Heat maps. I mean, who's 17 again? I can't remember. That's Wolf. Of course it is. Yeah, they couldn't handle it. And I just feel like this is a game that I understand that it's going to be tough because of the pressure of being in that stadium. However, it doesn't really matter. We're happy. It's the kind of game where it's perfect for us to be the away team. We're happy for them to control a little bit of the ball. As long as we're not controlling the game, we want to hurt them in space and in transition. We've got players that can hurt them. I think this is very winnable. I actually feel more confident about this game than I did the home game. Yeah. Which I know sounds bizarre, but I just do. Right. And if I bring us to our team, this isn't the team. This is just people who were thrown on for the previous graphic. So just for the state of it, do you want to build a possible team on here, and then we can go through what we think?
Yeah.
Well, so Richie off, Hall. I mean, is a maybe. Bruno, Willock, Gordon, Joe Linton. So how are we thinking this is going to go? What are we? Are we thinking it's going to be Hall, or are we thinking it's going to be? I'm
gonna stick my neck out here and say that what team we've seen on, was it FOTMob?
You think it's the FOTMob one, yeah?
Yeah.
So you think it's going to be...
As much as I'd love to see Lewis Hall play, I think, the way Livramento's performed, and obviously Trippier's leadership, I think you want them both in. And I don't think you want to throw Lewis Hall into a Champions League game just yet.
So you think it's going to be
my
that?
opinion.
That's what I think. That's what I think he'll pick. That isn't what I'd pick, but that's what I think he'll pick.
So I think the outside shouts here are going to be. So let's move you guys out the way. So we've got no Richie. So Willock from the bench or a potential starter. Hall from the bench or a starter.
Burn target not there. Christ,
there's not a lot else, is there?
Kraft's not in the squad either. So
Kraft's not in the squad. Oh God. I mean,
a few goalkeepers.
A few goalkeepers. I don't even know who's in the squad for it. I can't remember.
Can we have Miley as well? I think we can have Miley, can't we? As a young player.
I think we can have Miley. Yeah. What's Miley's number? Is he 39? Am I making
Miley's 67?
39. Freaking 60. I don't know why.
67, isn't he, Lewis Miley? He is 67, isn't he? Yeah.
Miley. 67. Okay, so I mean we're a bit limited. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that's our bench, by the way. This is just, we have more.
Well, Alex, it has to be. Who else is going to be there?
Who else exists?
There's going to be some kids there, isn't there? Because obviously they're not included. I don't know how it works.
The kids play tomorrow, didn't they?
Holy shit. I mean, we are down to the bare bones. I mean, bloody hell, the way we're going, us three will be on the sudden bench.
So again, the only offensive change we can make is Willock.
Yeah, I don't think Willock's ready to start just yet. If I'm honest, I think it would be a big risk still starting him. I think he takes maybe 3 or 4 games off the bench to get into it again.
Did he not start
he's
the other day?
Yeah, he started against Man United, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like a Champions League game, that's a different kettle of fish. You know, I reckon Willock is.
Surely we've got more players available than that. That can't
Alex,
be.
we have. I don't think we have, mate.
I refuse to believe we don't have any more players.
Think of the players that are out. Think of the players that are out and take them away from the 23.
Right. So Murphy's out.
Murphy's out. Isak's out.
Is out. Tonali's out. Anderson's out. Botman's out. Burn, Target.
Kraft,
I think Kraft,
Richie,
or Mankia are in the squad. And then goalkeepers. I mean, that graphic is not wrong. There is bugger all left. There's nothing.
God, that is scary, isn't it?
It's just going to be. It's going to be one of these games where we've got 2 or 3 goalkeepers on the bench.
Yeah, it is definitely.
There's just nothing left. It is proper bare bones.
Apparently, Brian Scott has just seen my Top Gun video from last. It must have been last year. That. Anyway, let's move on. I am frightened. I have to say, at our lack of whatever on the bench. I mean, look, Willock, whether he starts, look, I think he's good to have on the bench. Certainly, when we're down to the bare bones like we are. Willock is a good option to have on the bench. Yeah. In fact, he's the only sudden option if we need to try and change the game.
Dylan Stevenson, and we're just going to need some more.
But they play tomorrow. They play tomorrow in
their league. We need some cover.
Mm. Well, honestly, Alex, with all due respect, say that as Newcastle manager, you're good to go.
No, exactly. But senior team comes first. I'm afraid. We need some bodies in this squad.
Yeah. He's got no choice, Bill. He's got to put some kids in.
Looks that way, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Toon Games just said Luca De Bol and Parkinson have travelled. I mean, possibly.
They've all travelled. They've all travelled.
Okay.
Yeah, of course they have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
guys. Remember, no all caps in the chat, or it gets removed no matter how friendly it is. But I understand.
Diallo as well was on the bench, wasn't he, against Man United?
Yeah.
I reckon those will come back in.
There is some. Well, we'll just.
I think it's going to be travelled because they've got a game themselves.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be a long night. I think it's going to be a long night.
Who's not number 3, by the way? What numbers Carrius? He is number 18. So that would have been a good quiz question, wasn't it? What numbers Carrius without looking it up? I bet most of you didn't know that.
I did.
Maybe we'll stick 3 keepers on the bench tomorrow.
I think you probably will.
Maybe we'll start with 3 keepers in the goal.
And if we need a goal at the end, we put one on as a striker. Jesus. Geordie Boy says it's been a while since Paul shouted Suzanne. Well, there you go. You've had it twice now. Abs, man. Let's not have any jingles. It just triggers YouTube's numerous annoying adverts. Not if you're playing it during a live stream. Julie J says plenty smoke Photoshop brushes out there. Indeed there is. Samsonite says the theme song for Stato intro should be the end of the EastEnders theme song.
Absolutely not.
And then we get copyrighted. So unfortunately, Chipper says gone fishing with Stato and Robson Green. Ian says the next international break is coming along at the right time. At the rate we are picking up injuries, otherwise Shearer's going to have to lace up his boots again.
Yeah.
How weird is that though, guys? That we kick off about the international breaks, yet the 3 international breaks that have come this season.
Mate, I said this, didn't I? Was it last week?
All been needed.
I mentioned this that the middle of November can't come soon enough.
They've all been needed, which is mental. I mean, look, I am worried about the bench tomorrow because if the starting 11 are probably going to have to play. Most of them are probably going to have to play the full 90.
Well, this is why I don't think Gordon will play. Wilson will play. Wilson's played Saturday. We know what he's like. He's got probably potentially going to play Saturday this week. I think we'll see Willock, and I think we'll see Gordon play through the middle.
So you think it's Willock left?
Gordon through the middle, yeah.
Gordon through the middle, and then Joe Linton and Willock rotating. I mean, possibly, because then Wilson on the bench can come on and try and affect the game if necessary.
Yeah.
I think that's possibly the only alternative. I mean, it's between the fullback. What's going to happen with the fullbacks, and then what's going to happen with Wilson? I think those are the 2 positions And does Willett play?
Well, Clone Lad says Wilson, Gordon, and Miggy might be an option. I mean, Gordon's got the energy. He's fit as a fiddle. He's, I don't. It's just a shame that we're going into this game and we're having to sort of talk about maybe leaving Callum Wilson out. I mean, but
he won't want to rest. He won't.
No, he won't. But the thing is, it'll give us an attacking option on the bench. If we need to throw someone up front, just to maybe go 2 up top later on in the game, if we need it. I mean, listen, we're talking if we need it, but let's hope we don't. Let's hope we're 3-0 up by 20 minutes left.
I still think, again, regardless of who plays, I still think with 2 or 3 pacey players we've got that are talented, we've got enough to hurt them on the break. That's all we need. And from offensive corners, Jamal Lascelles is due a goal. He likes a goal. He's a big meathead in the box, and he normally scores 2 or 3 a season. When he back in the day he was scoring sort of 2 or 3 every single year. He's due one.
That's probably why Trippier plays actually for set pieces.
Yeah.
Well, we play right back, left back, I guess, wouldn't he?
Interesting.
Would you have ever thought, if sort of 3 years ago, if somebody said to you, Paul Dummett may get a chance of starting Dortmund away in the Champions League group stage?
Michael Watson says, what about the Red Bull team swapping players between each other?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but that never seems to get highlighted, does it? So because it's Newcastle United. Joe Linton and Bruno called into the Brazil squad. Yes, they have. So well done to them. So they'll be off on massive travels again for the international break. Iropa says Kane is far too good for the Bundesliga.
Well, last season the top scorer was 16 goals and he's got 15 already, and it's just November.
That's ridiculous.
Christ on a bike. Agent Tech Streams, thanks for your $4.99 super chat. He says, I'll go bench, but maybe wheelchair wheels is an advantage. Yeah, I don't think it will be allowed.
Well, you'll move faster than Schlotterbeck was doing the other day, that's for sure.
If that's the case, we can get Dan Burning, surely.
Well, yeah.
Maybe. Alan says, I'm nervous about tomorrow now. Watch us batter them. Well, like we said earlier on, there's been numerous times where we've been nervous about the game, and we've come and we've just destroyed whoever's been in front of us. Simple as that. And I think that may happen again, certainly more than once this season. I mean, look, I just hope that we're not overawed by the size. Well, not the size of the stadium, but the noise in there. They're going to be. Dortmund are going to want to, I know it's a cliche, but bounce back from the defeat, Billy, at the weekend, aren't they? They're going to want to put on a performance for the fans who were there to witness that thrashing by Munich.
Yeah, I mean, for both teams, it can go one of 2 ways. They can either thrive on it, or they can kind of melt and do it. And it'll show us a lot about our team, won't it? And if they thrive into that kind of hostility, then the world's our oyster, really, isn't it? And the same for them. They're going to have a lot of pressure on them after Saturday's result. Will they thrive, or will they melt under the pressure? Who knows? It's unpredictable at the moment. I certainly think that we'll thrive under it because we've got the management behind us to make us thrive on it. I'll be confident as hell going into the game. Of course I will.
Oh, they'll be full of confidence, the lads. There's no doubt about it. And I think we have to just go into it and play our normal game, I think, Alex. And what I don't want us to do is go in and sit off Dortmund, because I think that'll be the wrong thing to do if we sit off them. I think we should just go and play our normal game, and what will be, will be.
Well, our normal game is to set off them to a point.
Yeah,
if you look at Arsenal with our shape,
we
wait for them. There'll be certain things that will trigger the press, and we'll try and back them into one side of the pitch, as we always do. And it'll be their job to try and play through us. Or we may be slightly more conservative in that regard, and maybe not press quite as aggressively. Maybe have slightly more conservative triggers to the actual press, and like against Man City, which I know nobody liked, because everybody's used to seeing us just be absolutely gun-ho and just constantly running around. It's not always the best option necessarily. We'll see. We can't leave ourselves too exposed with maybe a rotated team. Well, I say maybe not a rotated team, but
bare bones.
Yeah, bare bones. It's one of those where you don't want to go 1-0 down away from home on a Tuesday night in Dortmund. You don't want to go 1-0 down within 10 or 20 minutes because that is a proper uphill battle then.
Yes.
Well, for the last 9 or 10 minutes of the show, I've just stuck a poll up saying who would you play at left back, Hall or Trippier. So go and vote. I'll be interested to see what the final votes are for this when we do finish the show. So who would you start at left back, Hall or Trippier? That is it in the description now. So get voting, guys. Stiff Gator says Trippier even at left back is too good and too experienced to leave out. He has to play even at left back. Well, I said that earlier, Billy. I mean, you look at the way Livramento's been playing. I don't think Eddie Howe would have a worry playing Livramento and then Trippier's experience, etc., on the left, rather than throw Lewis Hall in at the deep end in a Champions League game.
Oh, man, I disagree.
I thought you might. That's why I asked you the question.
I'd rather play a specialist left back at left back and a specialist right back at right back.
Yeah.
It sends the wrong message to Lewis Hall for one. For two, it makes the pitch bigger. We've seen how narrow that Dortmund play and did play Saturday. If we can stretch the pitch as wide as we can, it helps us. It makes sense to me to play a left back, to be honest. With Trippier there, it's going to be all cutting inside all the time, isn't it? So,
but is Lewis? The thing is, though, Billy, is Lewis Hall ready to go into that kind of atmosphere, that kind of competition? You know, I know Livramento. I think Livramento's had a bit more experience than what Hall has. So, is it a risk throwing Lewis Hall into a massive cauldron like away at Dortmund when we need a result as well? Don't forget, we want a result.
To me, it's no more of a risk than playing a right back at left back.
But we're not. We're playing a right back at right back tomorrow, though, aren't we? So we're not doing that.
No, we're still playing a right back at left back if Trippier plays left back.
Well, yeah, we are playing right back. How many times are we going to say back in the next 10 minutes? Yeah. So you'd have the confidence in Lewis Hall to do a job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not just do that. Help us, provide us with attacking threat.
Well, there is that side to Lewis Hall, and I don't think that can be the case with that. They're going to know that Trippier and Gordon are going to cut in on the right most of the time. So does that not put us at a little disadvantage, Alex, by Trippier cutting in and Anthony Gordon, because it throws the balance off a little bit?
I mean, you've just got to weigh up the positives for it. But Trippier's a better set-piece deliverer, and he's got 6 assists in the Premier League. So
Trippier's going to play, isn't he? If he plays at right back or left back, he's going to play either side. I mean, if Hall plays, it won't be for Trippier getting dropped, will it?
But
yeah.
I agree that there'd be more balance and width potentially. Well, probably. However, with Livramento's recent performances, additional experience, as Paul said, he's had a full season in the Premier League with Southampton and has been excellent for us so far and has more minutes and is a little bit older. I feel like he's just going to get the nod. I know you don't like it, Billy, but I do think it's going to be Trippier and
Champions League last year. Were Chelsea in Champions League last year or European football? I mean,
I think they were.
Yeah.
Lewis Hall may well have played in European football.
That's a good point. I don't know. Alex, is that something you could check?
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Be interested to know. Ancient Samumu's asking, has Isak travelled or just pictured at training? I don't know. I know he was pictured training, obviously. That's, but as for travelling, I am not sure. Stephen says, well said, the hunger and desire to win away has to be a major factor in any baller's game, given the amount of support they get. How are the lads? Channel Right says, bring back Rob Lee. Yeah. Remember his hat-trick of headers, Billy?
I was there in Antwerp.
Oh, were you? Oh, yes, you were. Yeah.
There. And that's another story.
Yes. Samsonite says, I think Parkinson might be switched. Yeah, I think Parkinson could be on the bench tomorrow, which means it's going to leave the kids. I mean, the kids are struggling in their Champions League at the moment. So I think, if we leave some of the top youngsters out, it's going to be even worse for them, bless them. But hey, it has to be done. Matt says, I'll get me boots out. I tell you what, you never know. We might get that call tomorrow, Billy Bob. We might get the call. So get on a plane right now. Ab says we're a few players away from an injury crisis. I think we're there already, to be honest, given who we've got out and available on the bench tomorrow. It is a bit of a crisis. Alex, any news on Hall?
So in February, there were 2 games against Dortmund, funnily enough, Chelsea. He was on the bench in both. Then they played Real Madrid next, which I think knocked them out, didn't they? So he didn't start that game, but was on the bench for... No, he wasn't on the bench for that one. And then the game where they got knocked out, he was not in that starting lineup either. But he
been on the bench. He was on
the
bench
bench
in Dortmund. So
he's been on. He's been on the bench for both Dortmund games for Chelsea. Didn't come on, and was on the bench for one of the Real Madrid games and didn't come on.
So he's already experienced the atmosphere and the yellow wall. So maybe I don't know. I mean, listen, I say it every time we do a match preview that Eddie swings curveballs left, right, and centre when he, Yeah,
if he rolls out dumb at left back tomorrow, don't be surprised.
But he's capable of that, Eddie Howe, isn't he? He's capable of just throwing something out that we just did not expect.
He absolutely is, yeah.
Jesus. Anyway, I think we've pretty much covered our team prediction. Thomas says, you are my favourite Newcastle channel, Paul. You are my favourite person on the channel. Well, thank you very much, Thomas. Where do we go? Come on, then. Let's do the predictions. Where are we at? Because I right now, I'm going last because I've got no sudden idea what I'm going to predict. Because I just have no sudden idea what the team's going to be. Alex, we'll go with you first tonight.
2-1 to us with
Ooh.
Joe Willock and Jamal Lascelles, with a transition goal from Willock with nice technical ability. Lascelles from a set piece or a corner with a header. And then I think Marco Reus is going to score one for them. I think we're going to win 2-1.
Marco Reus, eh? Marco Reus. Come on then, Billy. Let's have it.
This is my heart speaking again. I'm going to say 2-1 also. I'm going to say 2-1 also. I think Gordon will score, and I think Jamal has a good shout from set piece, seeing how they defended that one against Bayern on Saturday. Yeah, it's 2-1.
Can I just ask a question, guys? Have we ever predicted Newcastle to lose on our match previews?
I've never done it.
I mean, we don't lose very often, so we're right most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just putting it out there because, I don't think I can remember us ever predicting a loss.
No, I don't think I even predicted a draw.
I think I did early doors. There were certain games.
Interesting.
Especially in sort of Eddie Howe's first season against Liverpool and City, that was the sort of time where you expect to lose. And we did lose quite convincingly in some of those games.
Yeah, we did. However, there's going to be a first tonight. I'm only joking. I'm going 2-1 as well, funny enough. That's the score I had in my head. And that's what I'm continuing to go for, 2-1. I think they might score first, but we will then just turn the screw and hopefully get a little bit of revenge for last week. Of course, it's a big game, guys, because we need the points here. If we're gonna, if it's us and Dortmund challenging for second position in the group, it goes on, the games against each other. So we need a performance tomorrow because it's just one of them things. But listen, I'm going with Anthony Gordon to get both goals tomorrow. I think he's going to be red hot and up for it and just be our saviour. Mind you, saying 2-1, I hope it's actually about 4-0 by the time we get to the 80th minute. And then I might relax a little bit. But we shall see. We shall see. Anyway, the results of the poll, guys, is a lot closer than I thought. We've had over 300 votes on this. Who would you play left back? 52% say Trippier, 48% say Lewis Hall. So pretty much split down the middle there.
That's close.
Is, yeah.
Brexit means Brexit.
It does, yes.
So Kieran Trippier.
Well, so if we're having that kind of problem, what do you think going through Eddie Howe's head? Although he sees them in training every day. But listen, I think
he will have already made the decision. So
yeah, he would have,
Yeah, indeed. Right, there you go, guys. That is the match preview done and dusted. Don't forget, tomorrow, by the way, we were only on 513 likes. Let's see if we can get to 600 by the time I do the outro. Hit that thumbs up button. If you want Newcastle to win tomorrow night, hit the thumbs up button, guys.
If you don't like the video, you're an Arsenal fan.
Absolutely. Yeah. Suddenly we spruced to over 600. Let's have a look. Let's wait and see. If you're an Arsenal fan, by the way, if you don't hit the thumbs up button. Right. Tomorrow, 5:15, me and Billy will be live on air. Half an hour's build up. We'll bring you all the team news and all the latest news going around. And then obviously we'll have a chat about the game and get you guys involved and see where we stand. Are you confident? Are you not confident once you've seen the team sheet, etc.? It should be an absolutely cracking game of football. So me and Billy will be there from 5:15. Alex, will you be joining us at half-time?
I will indeed, yeah. A colleague has very kindly offered to swap some shifts around so I can finish at 5 and be there for half-time and full-time. So I'll be there.
Super. Right, where we are for like 575. So keep going, guys. There's some people in here, Arsenal fans by the looks of things, if you don't hit the thumbs up. Wednesday we'll be back with a match review, hopefully celebrating 3 points. And don't forget, we have a preview of the Bournemouth game on Thursday. And then, of course, Alice joins us on Friday night. That is going to be an absolutely cracking show. So we're really looking forward to welcoming Alice onto the channel. But that is it for tonight. Thank you for your Super Chats memberships. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Billy and Alex. But as usual, thank you to you guys. We haven't hit 600 likes yet. We're about 16 away. Come on, guys. Let's just see if we can hit 600 before we end the show.
If you don't hit the like button now, then you're a Mackham as well. Imagine being an Arsenal fan and a Mackham. Can you imagine?
Alex, that's terrible. That's terrible. They're going to spruce up. 590. 10 more, guys. Come on. It really helps the chat. Look at us, man. What are we doing here? It's like a game of bloody bingo.
1 second.
1 second to hit the
it does massively help
6
the channel,
away.
Like, it
does
is
actually,
really
I
important.
think, that's why we do it, guys, in all honesty, because the more likes we get, then, compared to views, it then pushes us up the search results on YouTube. So, fellow
Otherwise,
fans like
YouTube's going to
yourselves,
promote cat videos, and we want us to be there, not cat videos.
Yeah, we've done it. We've hit 600. You guys are legends, absolute legends. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for the watch along, and hopefully 3 more points in the Champions League. But Christ, it is going to be interesting. But we'll see you then. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of the evening, folks. Good night.
For you, the show is over.
Come back and check out some green.